I think it's very important that you start as somebody's friend first and get to know the good, the bad, and the ugly, while y'all friends, because that's when they most comfortable. And then you can kind of determine if y'all really even are compatible in a relationship. Because it's some friends that I love to death, I find attractive, but I know we are not compatible in a relationship. In college, uh, we had the same friend group for the most part, but also we ended up dancing on the same dance team. So, being in close quarters. I don't know. She was just different. She had an interesting style to her. Uh, she, she just the way she put together her outfits, it was just real creative. So I just thought that was cool. Um, she would do her hair different like every other day. I thought that was cool. Kind of going back to style, she was just like creatively different. And like I said, we had like similar interests, so we were on the same dance team. And so we danced outside of being at practice and stuff like that. So we had common interests. She was smart, funny, and I felt like she just kind of showed me different aspects of my personality that I didn't see before, in a sense. Because she was more kind of like, weller off. I wouldn't say I was bad off, but she, her dad was a preacher. They got money, they got a big house in Reisterstown, Maryland, but it was just different to see that, but to see how we're so alike at the same time, because even though I'm not from that type of lifestyle, I still speak just as well. I still have the same values, if not, more, so it was interesting. I don't know, I feel like we just started growing apart after, in between time, with us kind of, cheating on each other here and there, or whatever the case may be, and her family. And I feel like a lot of times her parents kind of got in the way, or her family in general weren't very fond of me. And I didn't like the way I felt in that situation. Always feeling like I had to prove myself to her family. Being in the same friend groups and stuff like that, spending so much time with each other, I feel like we just kind of got tired of each other over time. And it started to feel like at least for me, it started to feel like we were just doing it because we were comfortable, with each other. Like, we don't want to venture out because it's been 4 years, you graduate next year, I graduate the year after that. What's the point of breaking up now? We might as well stay, you know what I'm saying? But then once college was kind of over, I feel like that's when the truer colors started to show. That's when like the distance really showed the most, is when we weren't at school. I think foundation is very important when it comes to relationships, because as we all know, if you don't have a solid foundation, you're bound to crumble. But when you know what to expect going in, I feel like there's expectations and boundaries. But when you're kind of figuring things out as you go along, and it kind of makes things a little bit harder, if that makes sense. It's very important also to start as friends, and not kind of like I spoke of before, starting with that physical attraction, or, kind of trying to take it there instantly. I'm attracted to you, let's, whatever. I think it's very important that you start as somebody's friend first and get to know the good, the bad, and the ugly, while y'all friends, because that's when they most comfortable, and then you can kind of determine if y'all really even are compatible in a relationship. Because it's some friends that I love to death, I find attractive, but I know we are not compatible in a relationship. So I think that's very important as far as foundation goes as well. Keep it real from the start, to be honest. I felt like in the beginning, it was definitely some things I was trying to, keep away from her. I definitely can say I wasn't secure in myself at that time in my life. So when things would come up, I would just, lie, which they end up coming to the surface anyway, and we dealt with it. We still were dating and stuff after that. But nonetheless, I feel like it did create more distance in a sense, because it's like now I feel like, I kind of took away your trust in a little bit. You know, like I didn't keep it real from the start. Here we are in this big situation, and now, you know, you looking at me like, well, why didn't you just keep it real? And I'm just like, you know, I didn't know I could keep it real. Like, but like when it comes to like the lessons I learned, one of the biggest lessons I learned was honestly just to keep it real with myself, but more importantly, keep it real. Because I mean, she asked, but I just didn't keep it real, you know? So I think I learned that I can be honest in a situation like that. You know, it's not something that I have to hide within myself, especially when it comes to going forth in a relationship with anyone. So, and I feel like she's just made me more secure in myself. It made me feel like, you know, not so judged, if that makes sense. Because if she, you know, was messing with me, then, you know, I should be cool.